She would love that. I'm Kim, and I'm going to begin with one of T's favorite stories, and I'm going to apply it to our task here today. Few people have seen her, but those who have, by the light of the full moon, say that she is as wide as she is tall. And she has feet that look more like roots burrowing in the ground, and fingers more like talons than hands. She has long, greasy gray matted hair that's held up in vulture feathers and mossy breath. And she is followed closely by birds who hope she will know them. And like them, she has large green-orange eyes that are almost fixed in their sockets. And her sounds are more bird-like than human. Ch-chick-caw, ch-chick-caw. And she lives in the hollowed-out burrows of redwood trees that have been hit by lightning. And it is there she collects the treasures of the forest, the fox fur, the lichen, the snail shells, and the mushrooms. But the most coveted treasures of all are the bones and the parts of owls that have been taken too soon. They call her Nyctea, which means of the night. And her job as mistress of that which is in danger of being lost in this world is to comb through the riverbeds and the ancient forests, collecting the pieces, the parts, the feathers, the tawny browns and the moody grays, until she collects all the parts of a particular creature. And when she has done so, she brings them back to her redwood burrow, and she sits quietly beside them, listening to her breath going in and out and in and out, and the great drum of her heart going boom, boom, boom. And she thinks of the particular soulfulness of this bird as she lovingly waits for her song. And she begins singing like a grandmother would sing to a child. Na, 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 na. And she begins recreating piece by piece all of the bones of that particular bird. The bones that are light as a grain of rice, strong as the wind. And she thinks of the clearness of that bird's eyes, the sweetness of its breath, and the beauty of its life on the wing, as she then scoops seasonal clay and forms the flesh of that bird. And if the clay dries too quickly, she uses the saltwater truth of her tears to refly it until it is just so. And then she uses the feathers and the talons and the beak, and she sings, na, 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 until she sings it into feather and flesh and heartbeat. And doing so, it opens its orange-green eyes, spreads its wings, flies out of the redwood burrow, equipped now to cross the owl's bridge, leaving nothing but the memory of its beauty and a quivering feather or two in the dank, wet air. I bring this up today because I believe that when we have to say goodbye to someone in the physical, we're also being offered a chance to say hello to them in the imaginal. And that as we sit here today telling stories and hearing songs, what we're doing is we're actually recreating the particular soulfulness of our beloved T. The songs, the smells, the colors, the memories, the stories, all those come together to create the image, the integrity, the angel, if you will, who will carry us all through this. We're gathering bones. And we're singing over them. When I think of T, she was a wicked Scrabble player. Never once. She had like a double score X letter every time. I gave up playing about 10 years ago. Yeah. She loved the color stage. She treated her dogs like children. She wore the same earrings for over 10 years. She ate the same breakfast for over 5, oatmeal. She loved handwriting beautiful cards. She preferred the phone to email, and she never got a Facebook account. Now these are just the tawny browns and the moody grays. These are the feathers. But if I were daring to suggest the flesh and maybe even the heart of T, 3 things come to mind. 1 is her gentleness. 2 is T as gatherer. And 3 is her deep capacity for love and friendship. So in terms of being gentle, I remember this moment where she had been doing these guided visualizations for her healing, and she was ready to write some of her own. And so we sat down together, and of course my immediate image was of Star Wars-like stormtroopers with semi-automatic machine guns, like a game of asteroids, like. And I told her this, like, I got it. And she said, no. She said, the cancer is a part of me, and I need to see what it needs to express, and I need to listen to it. Very different approach. Very gentle. Another story that may be inappropriate for church, but she had so many chemicals racked in her body that she had really a difficult time with her GI tract and getting really stopped up. And it was very, very uncomfortable for her. And one time she was in a particular amount of pain, and I stood up and I put on almost like a heavy metal music, and I said, "We are doing the poopy dance." And my idea of the poopy dance, you don't even want to see it. No, it was like a Maori war dance. I was like really all out there, and she did her like, no. She got up and she changed the music, the soft instrumental music, and she did the most sensual, feminine, beautiful dance. She had a turquoise scarf, and she was pulling it around, and there she was with her bald head and her skinny little legs, and those blue eyes of her just jumped out with that turquoise scarf, and she was stunning. Stunning. There's a Chinese saying that says, a sincere heart can make a stone blossom. And that describes T well to me. It's a sensibility she brought to her work and also her intimate relationships. T was also a gatherer, as most of us know. Anyone who helped her move from this church knows she has boxes of rocks. She gathers rocks, artwork, books, many things. But what she mostly is a gatherer of information. She is a painstaking researcher. And she will go here and there and everywhere, pulling threads from all over the place, almost like in the Navajo tradition of Grandmother Spider who weaves the world. She puts things together, and it takes her a long time, but these things actually inform her beliefs, her values, and her behaviors. One of my best examples of this is when my daughter was younger. The 3 of us went for a walk together. And my daughter said to the 2 of us, "What do you think the most important decision a woman makes in her life is?" Well, I very quickly answered in 5 words. I said, "Well, it's who you have children with." Period. T relished this question. She quoted Mary Oliver, Indigo Girls, Rilke, Rumi, and after an hour and 20 minutes, she came to her punchline, which was the most important decision a woman can make in her life is to honor and value herself. Very tea-like. The third part that's so important to me is her deep capacity for love and friendship. She was a companion to your vulnerabilities just as much as your strengths. She saw you, and in return she would offer her own essence. I know what it feels like to have walked with someone, to believed in them, and to bring out the better part of the other. She taught me about unconditional love, and mostly she taught me about forgiveness. She taught me that friendship truly is a sheltering tree. And my story about this is the week of her death, we were having an email exchange. And she had a lot of angst about a particular interpersonal dynamic that she was in the middle of. And I had written her back, and I had offered her kind of a mirror of what I thought was happening. And she wrote to me, this is 2 days before she died, "You track it well. Pretty soon I'm going to gather it all, the angst, the anxiety, and I'm going to put it in a shoebox and give it to you to hold for me." And I said, "How wonderful. A shoebox of rain. We can cover it and decorate it with stained glass dragon tears." And she said, "Yes, and pictures of snowy owls and hydrangeas and heart-shaped rocks." But then she said, "When you hold it for me, I want you to put it away somewhere, under a bed or on a shelf, so that it doesn't burden you." And of course, I will do that until I too, like us all, cross the Owl's Bridge. In the meantime, Merwin said, "Your absence has gone through me like thread through a needle. Everything I do is stitched with its color." I can assure you that having tea, my song is much more colorful.